Hi guys, and welcome to another Divi theme hover effect video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Well, we've got a very simple and effective little hover effect for you today. There's no coding involved. We've got a little image here. When we hover over it, it's going to have a drop down call to action and a bit of an overlay so you can read that text a lot easier. And when you get off, it's going to pop back up there. Really easy to do. Like I say, there's no coding involved in this today. So let's get started. I'm going to enable my Visual Builder. And let's go in, add a call to action module. I've got a section, the blue tab, with a row, the green tab. I'm just going to click on the button to add a new module. Divi is standard, but comes with all these modules here, and there's plenty of them to build just about any site. If you've got WooCommerce installed, it gives you an extra dozen also to display your products. So here's the call to action. Simply going to pop that in there. Put title in there, obviously. Put what you want your button to say. At the moment there's no button showing up, but we'll add that in a moment. Because to get the button to show up, you need to add a link. Put your content in here. Like any other text module, you can align it, add media if you need to, and add links and things like that. Now if you want this module to link to somewhere, the whole module, you can put a link in here. Best practice, if you're linking to your own site, leave it in the same window. If you're linking off site, open it in a new tab so your site stays open. Now to get our button to show up, you want to put your link in here. I haven't got a real link, so I'm just going to put a hashtag in for an example. So you can have two different links, a button going one place and the module going another place, or obviously you can have them both going to the same place. As you can see, our button's turned up there. Okay, well, let's save that. The next thing we want to do is actually apply the image that we want to see first. For this one is not actually residing in the module, it's residing in the column behind the module. So let's go into the row and we'll go into the column. We've got column 1, column 2 in the middle, column 3 on the right. So we're working on column 3. I'm going to go down to background. I'm going to go over to image. You've got color, gradient, image, or video if you prefer. I'm going to select image and just grab an image. Now we won't be able to see it because our call to action is on top there. So let's just save everything, save the whole row, go back into our module. If I remove the background now, you'll see that image. So I'm on the content tab of our call to action module, going to go down to background. I'm going to remove that image. Remove the background color, I should say, to reveal the image. There we go, you can see that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply a background color. I'm going to use black, use any color you want. As you can see, that image has disappeared, but I want to be able to see most of the image through it, but I still want to be able to read the text and see the button well. So I'm going to slide this down to somewhere where I can see enough of the image, but I can still read the text very legibly. I think that's going to work fine. Now if you wanted to style your button individually, you can go over to the design tab, go down to button, flip this to on, and you can add background colors and hover colors and borders and text. And to set background color for a hover state on a button, at the moment I'm leaving it on the default. Just hover over the dark legending, and that's common to most Divi modules. You'll find a little arrow. If you click on that arrow, it's going to give you a desktop state and a hover state. So you can set one color for the desktop state, another one for when your mouse is on it hovering. I'm happy to leave mine as the default, so I'm going to do that for a moment. Okay, well, let's make the magic happen. What we want to do is we want to scoot this whole module up here somewhere, and then when we hover over it, we want it to pop back down. To do that, we're going to use a bit of spacing. So let's go close up our button here and we'll go down to spacing. We're still on the design tab. What I'm going to do is give it a negative margin on the top, something large. We'll try 400. So negative 400. As you can see, it's disappeared at the top there. And there's no actual content here in our column, so it doesn't know to display the picture. So to get around that, I'm going to add a lot of padding on the bottom. I think I want about 450 to put it straight, so I'm going to add 450. There we are. Now we can see our little image that we had in there, but our actual call to actions disappeared off the top. Now I only actually want this to be here when I'm not hovering over it. When I hover over it, when we hover over this padding here, I want it to slide back down. So this is where we can set our hover states, and we've got one for the margin, hit the little arrow, and we've got one for the padding. So I want to offset these. So when we're hovering over it, that's absolutely fine. I want it to be right there. Or when we're not, rather, we're on desktop state. Then when we hover over it, I want it to come back down again. So I'm going to take away all that padding by putting a 0 in there. And I want to offset the padding down here because I don't want 450. As you can see, that makes it crazy. If I put it to 0, I think it's a little bit short. So I need to add, say, 50 on the bottom to make it the size that we had initially. So that's what it's going to look like when we're hovering over it. That's what it's going to look like when we're not. But I've still got that background overlay color in there. So I need to change that as well. And we put our background in the Content tab. Background, Content, Background. So again, I'm going to hover over the dark legending, hit the little arrow. When we're not hovering over it, desktop, I don't want to have a color at all. So we've got the original picture. When we are, I'm going to have to add that back in again. So I'm going to add a background color. And I'll put that black in there. And we'll take away as much as it as you want to keep your text legible and your image a little visible. I think something like that. But that's entirely up to you. So there's our hover state. When we're not hovering over it, we just got the image like that. And the time it actually takes to go from hover to desktop or desktop to hover, by default with Divi is 300 milliseconds, which is just under a third of a second, which to me is a little bit quick. So I like to slow it down, but again, that's entirely up to you. To do that, it's really easy. Go over to the Advanced tab at the top here. We'll go down to Transitions. Here we've got the transition duration, and there you can see the default 300 milliseconds. I'm going to take mine up to, I don't know, 3/4 of a second, whatever works for you. It just gives it a bit more drama if you slow it down a bit. Don't want any delay. As soon as they put their mouse on it, I want it to happen. Transition speed curve, ease is fine. The one I like to use for these hover effects is ease in and ease out. And these are all slightly different. They'll work, some will work better than others in certain circumstances, so check them out. But I'm going to use ease in and ease out. I like to use that for these hover effects. So if we've done everything correctly, that should now work for us. Let's save. Let's exit the Visual Builder. Save draft or publish the page if you're ready. And we'll see what we've got. Okay, well there's our image when we hover over. There's our little call to action popping in. Now there's one more thing we can do there. When it's sliding in, I'm noticing it's visible at the top here. With this one, you can't see that. Now you might want that, but I don't. So it's really easy to get rid of that as well. What that is there, it's the little column that we're looking at here is showing overflow. So we need to just change that. Let's quickly enable the Visual Builder. And we'll go into the row, the green tab. We're working on column number 3. And if we go over to the Advanced tab, down to Visibility, you've got horizontal and vertical overflow. I'm going to change them both to hidden. If I just change one, you're likely to have a little scroller at the side, so I'm going to change both of them. Save those changes, save the row changes, and we'll get out of here again. And now that should be invisible. There we go. So we've got no overflow there. As you can see, our little call to action is dropping down there. We've got our little overlay color. We can read the text pretty well. And we've got a call to action button in there. So like I say, that's a nice little hover effect to have on your site. Really easy to do. No coding involved. So I hope you've enjoyed this today and found it useful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, ring the bell, share, comment and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Once again, this has been Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.